Hi, it's Love84 Aria of OSNST Limited, and I just wanted to do a vlog regarding why I believe cocaine should be legalized. Now, I'm going to discuss the pros and cons regarding cocaine, and first I'm going to discuss the cons. There's people who you could call them the hype men, and when they go to these parties or these exotic locations, I've seen videos where someone's put on the counter in one of these nightclubs a meter long line of cocaine, and someone down the whole meter long line of the cocaine while all the crowd going yeah. Now they must be feeling some sort of euphoria, must be high off their skull, and they're thinking they're the dog's bollocks because everyone's chaining on. But that's very, very dangerous scenario. You don't want to be caught up in that sort of scenario. The reason why shit like that is because you'll end up craving it more and have a tolerance, a different tolerance level to other people, where you possibly you'll go wake up in the morning on Monday when you have to start work, but before you start your day you're gonna have to do a line, and then when you go to work you go in the toilet, do another line. You're in between your work, you leave to go to the car park and you do another line. Now when your body starts craving it like that, the chances the scenario is going to turn out, this is how it's going to turn out. You're going to end up getting psychological problems, most likely start with psychosis. You're going to get in contact with the medical health team because your family members, your friends are acting weird, something's not right about you. You're going to be going to people who are selling you, got any stuff, have you got any stuff, and you're eventually going to be medicated for it. Now, when you get medicated, there's so many possibilities you have a bad reaction to the medication. Now what tends to happen, you get really dark rings beneath your eyes, you start looking lost and gaunt, you balloon in weight, like you become obese. And then what do you think happens when you get to that scenario and you eventually sectioned under the Mental Health Act? You'll be staring in the mirror, ruminating about the past, the life you once lived, where you were the life and soul of the party. Everyone used to love having you around, but now your friends don't want you around because you're behaving and acting weird. You're looking at old photos of how you used to look when you were skinny, you were muscular, or a woman with a petite body, and now you're obese with dark rings beneath your eyes, and your families find it difficult to cope having you around because it's very difficult for them to adjust to the changes of accepting how you used to once be to what you've become. And you've ballooned and become obese, you're psychologically not there. What do you think the scenario ends? It ends in suicide. That's partying too hard, ends in suicide. Now when who've made some sort of recovery from abusing drugs which led to psychological problems, and we've come out on the other end and we're relatively functioning now, we look at all the young people and the teenagers who remind us of ourselves when we were younger, and to these young people we're just the weirdos, we're just the tramps, we're just the ragged looking people that no one wants around. But we look at them when we were once them, and the way they're carrying on, they're going to end up like us if they don't listen to our advice. And the advice is very simple: do not party too hard. No one's saying you can't party, but just don't party too hard. You need discipline and responsible friends around you. Now when you're caught in the euphoria of the nightclub and exotic lights and just amazing scenario, dressed in the finest clothes, looking sexy and glamorous and beautiful, you can feel made to feel like the dog's bollocks by people cheering you on, and drink, snort, sniff. But those hype men are the biggest pricks to have around. If really and truly, when people start getting people hyping them up to do pathetic and bullshit like meter long lines and party games where it's going to fuck up your head psychologically, they really need to have the shit kicked out of them and thrown out, because you don't want people like that around you, because it ends in suicide, because people become different. They psychologically become damaged and they become so depressed in looking in the mirror, and they ruminate about the life they once lived. And the only way they can end it to get out of the big, like say someone was a really skinny woman and she was very attractive and glamorous, now she's 20 stones or 20, she's just ballooned overweight, and she's got bags beneath her eyes, and she doesn't take care of her hygiene or her health, and she's just she just feels so rotten inside. How do you think she's going to end her life? You think she'll commit suicide eventually? And it's all because of partying too hard, and because of the idiots that people had around them that egged them on to party on too hard. So really and truly, you need to throw those hype men out of the party. Now, that's the cons about it. That's the bad side of it. Now, the other con side of it, the violence associated with controlling it in South America, the bombs that go off, the shootouts, and the lives that are destroyed because of the greed and the hunger for more money. So that's the con side to it. But then I've realized, and I've thought about it, if we regulated it as a society and legalized it, then we'll have to implement some rules and regulations. Now, this is the way I've concluded how it should be regulated. First of all, it's worth over 150 or $30 billion globally annually. So it's a lot of money. Now, if you find yourself, say you're a doctor, judge, or a lawyer, and you abuse cocaine to the point where you got any stuff, they can't be competent enough to assess your criminal case or your court case, or assess your health or your x-ray in the hospital, because they are not with it. The sort of judges and the nurses and the doctors and the lawyers, those high flyer rich people who can afford cocaine lifestyle, the people that would not mind assessing my health in the hospital who may have a cocaine habit are the ones that are going to be like this. I'm going to explain how. Say you only do it on your days off. I mean, you don't touch it Monday to Friday. You have the weekend off. You go and fly somewhere to an exotic place, and you do 1, 2, say 3 lines in the night, and that's it, or 3 to 4 lines in the night, small lines, nothing big, just a small line, 3 or 4, and you drink your cocktails and you dance into the music, you meet some amazing people and you have some amazing sex. Well, enjoy yourself. Just make sure when you get back to work on Monday, you don't touch it until your next day off. Now, people who can control it and discipline like that and can afford it should be able to make their own choices if that's what they want to spend their money on. It improves the lives of those living in extreme poverty in South America, those who harvest it, because their agriculture has been exploited by the Zionist capitals in the north. So this has resorted to desperate measures where people will resort to cocaine as a narcotic to sell to bring in money for their economy. So it will improve the finances and bring in money for the economy of South America. So people who regulate it like that should be able to. Now, if it's just like that, I don't touch it on any other day other than my days off, and I work whether it's a judge or a lawyer, a barrister, solicitor, or a nurse, or what do you call it, the people who can afford it, those really high flying lawyers and things like that, well, then they can still do their job efficiently because they haven't lost control of it. It's the ones that can't assess your health or be your doctor, the ones that go to the car park to do a few lines, go in the toilet to do a few lines throughout their work day, because they've lost control of it, so they won't make a competent decision regarding your health or your court case. But the ones that have it under control can still continue and do their job efficiently. Now, you need friends around you that if you notice any changes in someone, that first initially they had control of it, but now they need and crave it a bit more than they used to when they first started out. Now they're finding that they need it a bit more. You need to nip it in the bud and get out the game. You need to nip it in the bud and leave the cocaine game immediately. And you need friends around you saying, look, I think it's getting a bit out of hand. And you can't be like, no, I need it. You need to go to rehab. And rehab doesn't mean you're going to be medicated for anything. You're just going to go on a detox where you're going to have it drained out your system until you don't crave it anymore. And you might be 21, 25 and have to go to rehab because it was just getting a bit out of control, but you nipped it in the bud as soon as possible. You went to rehab, you detoxed, you sweated it out, and then you're going to be the 50-year-old or 60-year-old who may be at OAP, looking back in life and looking at the young generation, be like, yeah, the cocaine phase, yeah, we've all been there, had it. It was amazing. It was such an amazing feeling. I know what it feels like. Had such a great time, but I had to get out of it as soon as possible because it was getting a bit too risky. And so, I just have memories of it, but I got out of it as soon as possible. And then you get on with your life clean from cocaine for the rest of your life. But if you don't get out of it at that point where you notice you've got any stuff a bit more, it will end up in you ballooning in weight after being medicated for psychosis. It will end up you losing your friends and family and your job, and it will end in suicide. So we've got to legalize it for those that have got it under control. That's just my opinion. So that's Govlove 84 of OSNST. Peace.